Good afternoon. Welcome to the Midday Mull for Tuesday, the 11th of August. After 2 weeks away, glad to be back, sharing God's Word with you. Just a bit of a chilly day, but that's what winter should be like. With Robert Murray McShane, we're reading through the book of Jeremiah, today the 39th chapter, reading from the first verse. In the 9th year of Zedekiah, king of Judah, in the 10th month, Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, marched against Jerusalem with his whole army and laid siege to it. And on the 9th day of the 4th month of Zedekiah's 11th year, the city wall was broken through. Then all the officials of the king of Babylon came and took seats in the middle gate. As it happened, the king and army tried to flee, were caught, and deported to Babylon into exile, as God had said would happen through his prophets. Reading this, it's easy to just read it through, but if you stop and look at the dates, that the siege began in the 9th year of Zedekiah's reign, in the 10th month, and continued until the 11th year of his reign, and the 4th month. That means it was a year and a half. And the siege was that the army of the enemy would come and just camp around the city. They didn't need to attack or do anything, they just waited. And Nebuchadnezzar waited for a year and a half. And what happened was that the supplies ran out of the city and things turned desperate. Disease spread. It was appalling. If you read through the scriptures, you find places where people resorted to cannibalism because of the siege conditions. It was not a good thing. It was a disastrous situation. And when one thinks about what was going on there and the appalling conditions that the people were living under, Jeremiah was living amongst them. He'd been faithful to God. He'd done nothing that deserved judgment. He'd proclaimed God's word. He'd warned the people this would come. He'd done everything right. And yet he was in Jerusalem with everybody else, despite the situation. We sometimes would like to think that God looks after his own, means that he will rescue us from any adverse circumstances and we'll be plucked out of it and put in a nice, comfy space. It doesn't happen that way. Jeremiah was faithful to God, and he went through this with everybody else. And so often in society, as society crumbles or things go wrong, it does happen that things turn pear-shaped. One thinks of the First and Second World wars subsequently. Look at what's happening in Iran, and we haven't escaped from that. The war in Ukraine pushed the bread prices up. All these things, God's people aren't exempt from it. We're living in a fallen world, and the results of the fall will impact us. But Jeremiah remained faithful to God, and we need to do the same thing. We need to make sure that we walk with God, that we remain faithful to him. And God notices. We're told right at the end, verse 11, now Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, had given these orders about Jeremiah through Nebuzaradan, commander of the imperial guard. Take him and look after him. Don't harm him, but do for him whatever he asks. God provided for Jeremiah because of his faithfulness. And in my mind, that's an encouragement to remain faithful to God, because he does see. Even when the world around us is crumbling, when there's a siege around us, we remain faithful, and God remains even more faithful than we are. That's why we walk with him. So be encouraged when times get tough, when things go wrong, to remain walking with God, knowing that is what happens to his people. Be blessed.